no flood. Heavens should not come down. Hell should not be let loose. Earth should remain in its place. This is all Adi Daivika Anugraha. Anything can happen. Adi Bhautika, might should function. Adhyatmika, should not fall asleep. Adhyatmika Anugraha. ये सब होना चाहिए. देन अलोन एक वाक्य पढ़ने के लिए, उसको सुनने के लिए, उसको मनन करने के लिए, there is an opportunity. Otherwise, no, you can't. These forces will not allow you even to hear one vakya of the Shastra. Shastra ki even one vakya, not easy. To receive one vakya reflectively is not easy in life. To hear is all right, but to receive one vakya reflectively into one's heart, to receive one vakya into one's heart, Jiva receiving one vakya into his heart reflectively, bahut bada bhat. One hears but doesn't receive. To receive into one's heart what is important. Very big thing. That's how I think. So, it's a very deep analysis. That is what we are doing. It's the fundamentals. कर्तव्य विधि अननुप्रवेशे वस्तुमात्र कथने हान उपादान असंभवात् सप्तद्वीपा वसुमती राजासो गच्छतीति इत्यादि वाक्यवत् वेदांत वाक्यानाम् अनर्थक्यमेव स्यात्. Purvapakshi said, well, information about the facts called Vastu Matra Kathanam. Vastu Matra Kathanam means stating the nature of the realities. And your knowledge of a reality doesn't help you if it is not implemented in action. Kartavya vidhi ananupraveshe. You see, just we have seen it, just I am linking it. Without the knowledge being available for action, knowledge without being translated into action, kartavya vidhi ananupraveshe, vastumatra kathane, in the description of a reality, hana upadana asambhavatu, in the knowledge of a fact, you don't gain anything, you don't lose anything, meaning you don't gain sukham and you don't get rid of dukkham. That is called hana upadana. There is no sukha upadana, no dukkha hana, because that's all that I want. I want to lose dukkham and gain sukham. So there is no sukha upadanam nor dukkha hanam. Where there is no sukha upadanam and dukkha hanam, in the mere knowledge of a reality. And therefore, it would be as useless. So the information about Brahma, the knowledge about Brahma, which is a reality, it doesn't really take away my dukkham, doesn't give me any sukham. And therefore, it is the knowledge of Brahman is as useless as, he gives a nice example, Saptadvipa Vasumati. This earth has 7 continents. So they knew Saptadvipa Vasumati. So the earth has 7 continents. Rajasau Gacchati. This is pet Drishta. Here goes the king. Rajasau Gacchati. Ityadi Vakyavatu. And like this, Vedanta Vakyanam, the Vedanta Vakyas also enjoy anarthakyameva syat. They would all be useless. Vedanta Vakyas would enjoy futility. Meaning, Vedanta Vakyas are as useful, stating Brahman is as useless as even stating the earth to have 7 continents, or stating that the king, here goes the king. Not only that statement is useless, the statement is useless because the knowledge, the information provided by that statement is useless. That information is useless. Statement is nothing but statement of fact, statement of vision. So the vision of a fact, any fact, a statement, a vision of a fact is of no use unless that vision is available for being translated into action. It is that action that brings about the hana of dukkham and the upadana of sukham. Now the Purvapakshi just interferes and he says, Nanu Vastumatra Kathanepi, even when you state a reality, like supposing there is a situation in which you have mistaken the rope for snake, and somebody comes and makes a statement, hey, what you are seeing is not snake, this is not snake, but this is rope. This very statement, even though it is no action involved, it is only a statement, and you get the information, and you get the knowledge, you get the right information. This is not snake, this is rope. That even though it is knowledge, untranslated into action, but still, Rajuriyam Nayam Sarpaha Ityadav, in the case of the statements like this is not snake, but this is Rajju, Bhranti Janita Bhiti Nivartanena, by way of removing the fear born of that Bhranti, Nivartanena, Arthavatvam, utility, Drishtam is seen. Well, we do see the utility of the information here without action. We do see the usefulness of information. Information means I am just using the word information because I am doing the anuvada of the Purvapakshi. Purvapakshi calls it just information. That's called knowledge for him. For him, knowledge is nothing but information. So we do see that mere knowledge, simple knowledge, untranslated into action, simple knowledge of a fact, unassociated with any action, untranslated into any action, knowledge all by itself, being useful, is seen in situations like Ayam sarpaha iyam rajjuhu ityado bhranti janata bheda nivartanena arthavatvam drishtam tatha. In the same manner, iha here also, in the case of Brahma Vidya also, in the case of self-knowledge also, well, ihapi asansari atma vastu kathanena. Asansari atma. That the atma is asansari. Atma is asansari. The bhranti is aham sansari. I am sansari is the bhranti. And the Vedanta comes and gives the information, the right vision, that you are not a sansari, you are indeed asansari, you are ever free being. In this manner, when it unfolds the free nature of the person and that knowledge given by those statements, asansari atma vastu kathanena, sansaritva bhranti nivartanena, by way of removing the illusion that I am a sansari. Sansaritva bhranti means that I am a sansari, that I enjoy the status of being a sansari. Sansaritva bhranti, the error, nivartanena, by way of removing my confusion about myself. Arthavatvam syat, it can be useful. Arthavatvam syat means it shall be useful. So, the knowledge given by Vedanta can be useful without any action. Here, the entire thinking is, human thinking is that knowledge by itself is not useful. It is the actions that are useful. This is the thing, that all mediocres carry. All these workaholics always say, workaholics or non-workaholics, everybody thinks, this is the universal confusion. Action is useful, knowledge is of no use. This is the big bhranti. So, even if there is knowledge, it has to be useful in action. Knowledge must become action. That action must become result. And that result must become my pleasure. And that pleasure, indriya sukham, sense pleasure, is what is called useful. So, the sense pleasure is useful. Now here, if you say Brahma Vidya, that Brahma Vidya itself cannot be useful, then Brahma Vidya must be translated into some kind of Brahma Upasana. That is how the Purvabhakti thinks. Brahma Jnanam has to be translated into Brahma Upasana, which is Kriya Rupam, and that Kriya would bring about the Adrishtam Phalam, some object which will make me comfortable, etc. But here the Siddhanti says, no, even knowledge can liberate you if your problem is confusion. Understand? If the problem is confusion, then knowledge itself. If the problem is in the form of confusion, their clarity itself is solution. Why do you want an action? Supposing lack of an object is my problem, you say that money is my problem, then action is useful. House is the problem, then I have to perform an action. So, their mere knowledge is not enough. Similarly, values. I must not only know what are the right values, but I must also put them into practice. That is called, so-called, I must observe them in my daily life. That's called translating the values into action. So in certain situations where my needs are material, their actions are choiceless. Where my need is clarity, where my need is I am suffering for lack of certain clarity, their action is not going to help us. Their clarity helps, and clarity means, knowledge about, a reality about, knowledge about myself. Clarity about myself. That is, if for lack of clarity about myself, if I am suffering, then that suffering would come to an end if I have clarity. Therefore, there are areas where action is choiceless, and there are also areas where action is redundant. Understand? Action is redundant. Action has no role to play. Clear? Now the Purva Bhakti says, what you say is true. Syade tat evam yadi rajjuswarupam shravane ivam sarpabhrantihi sansaritva bhrantihi brahmaswarupam Shravanamatreena Nivarteta. His argument is like any modern, Satsangi's argument. Modern people's argument. Bhaktis are funny What he is talking, what Shastra is talking, something fantastic. This person is telling about. Purva Bhakti says, yes, you would be right. That knowledge itself would be a solution. Knowledge itself would liberate man. It would be all right to say so. If a person became liberated the moment he gets the information about himself. When you come to the class, then the Swami tells, you are not this body, you are Brahman. And the moment you get that information, you should get liberated. But in the case of the Drishta, in the case of the example that the Siddhanta gave, is the moment you are told, this is not snake, this is rope, the moment you hear it, immediately you get liberated from the snake. The moment you get the information. You get the information. Yes, this is rope, this is not snake. The moment you get that vision, information means the moment you get the knowledge. What is the knowledge? This is not snake, this is rope. One gets liberated from the snake and the snake fear. But here, you go on hearing that you are not Deha, you are not Deha, you are not Deha. But the person doesn't get liberated. That means there is a difference between the Drishtantam that you gave, and therefore this human problem is not as simple as Rajju Sarpa. This is the Purva. Syadetu devam. It would be so, sir, yadi, if Rajju Swarupa Shravane, in hearing the moment, in hearing the Rajju Swarupa, in hearing the nature, that it is not Sarpa but it is Rajju, the moment one hears it, Rajju Swarupa Shravane, Sarpa Bhrantihi, the error that it is Sarpa, Sarpa Bhrantihi, Nivartate Iva. That Nivartate has to be connected to the verb. The verb has to be brought in here. Nivartate Iva. Sarpa Bhrantihi Iva Nivartate. Means just as the moment I hear that it is rope, not snake, immediately my confusion about it is immediately gone. In the same manner, Sansaritva Bhrantihi, the idea that I am a struggler, the idea that I am the body, the idea that I am a mortal, the idea that I am an unhappy individual, no, this Bhrantihi, Sansaritva Bhrantihi, Brahmaswarupa Shravanamatreena, by hearing Vedanta, by hearing from the teacher that you are not a Sansari, you are indeed a Sansari Brahma, it is Shravanamatreena, the moment I hear it. Shravanamatreena means what? The moment I hear, I get the knowledge anyway. The words immediately give me the information. Oh, I thought I am the body, now I know that I am not the body. Oh, I thought I was a Sansari, but now the Swami says, the Vedanta says, I am not a Sansari, I to Brahma hu. And therefore, the moment a person hears the Vedanta, So the Shravana Matrena Nivarteta should go. Just as the Sarpabhranti goes, the moment I hear that it is not Sarpa but rope, in the same manner my Sansaritva Bhranti should go away. The moment I hear that I am not Sansari, that I am Brahma, Nivarteta, it should go with healing. Nivarteta means what? Nivartit hona chahiye. Yatha nivartate, there it is nivartate lat, here it is ling. Just as the Sarpabhranti goes, just as the Sarpabhranti yatha nivartate, tatha sansaritva bhrantirapi Shravana-matrena, Brahmatmatva Shravana-matrena, Nivarteta. It should go. The moment I hear that it's not snake but rope, I get liberated from the snake. But I go on hearing the whole life that I am not today, I am not today, I am not today, I am not today. But the Swami goes on telling you are not there. Vedanta goes, Swami doesn't say Vedanta, goes on saying you are not there, etc. But the Bhranti doesn't come to an end. That means what? Brahma Jnanam by itself does not liberate me. Rajju Jnanam can liberate me from Sarpa, but Brahma Jnanam doesn't liberate me. Your Sarpa Bhranti, Sansaritva Bhranti, Brahma Swarupa Shravana Matrena Nivarteta. Natu Nivartate, it should go, but it doesn't go. Natu nivartate. Purvapakshi says, Natu nivartate. It should go, but it doesn't go. Natu nivartate. It doesn't go. Then, Shruta Brahman, Natu nivartate. Natu nivartate. Shruta Brahmanopi. Yatha Purvam. Sukha Dukkhadi Sansari Dharma Darshanat Shrotavyo Mantavyo Nididhyasitavyaha Iti cha Shravanottara Kalayoho Manana Nididhyasanayoho Iti Darshanam. So the Purvapakshi continues, Sir, but it doesn't go. The snake goes, but the sansara doesn't go. Shruta Brahmanopi. Even if a person has heard about Brahma, Shrutam Brahma yena saha Shruta Brahma, tasya Shruta Brahmanaha. The person by whom the Brahman has been heard. Shruta Brahmana. The one who has heard about Brahman, even for him, Shruta Brahmanopi, even he has. What does he have? Yatha Purvam, as before, Yatha Purvam, Sukha Dukkhadi Sansari, Dharma Darshanat. He seems to enjoy all the qualities of a Sansari as before. Yatha Purvam, jaise bhale, Sukha Dukkhadi Sansara, that's called. He has got Sukham, he has got Dukkham. He also has got, he wants wealth, he wants wine, he wants women also. And he has got all impulses. He is the same, in fact he has become worse. He doesn't say it, we can add it. He doesn't say it. He doesn't mind saying it anyway. Discover what he doesn't mind saying it, so you say it. Therefore, after hearing the Vedanta, the person has become worse. Therefore, Sukha Dukkhadi Sansari Dharma Darshanat. Dharma Darshanat means being seen. And therefore, the Vedanta does not want to leave man. He doesn't want to leave man in the lurch. Vedanta doesn't want to leave man halfway. He doesn't want to, Vedanta just doesn't want to give him the information. But Vedanta wants to put him on the practice. And it it is that practice called upasana, called meditation, called mental worship, that is going to liberate him from the dukkha and also help him get sukha. That is why the Purva Bhakti says, well, that is why the Shruti also, gives the manana nididhyasana. That he says here, yatha purvam sukha dukkhadi samsari dharma darshanat shrotavyo mantavyo nididhyasitavyaha iti cha. So you should not only hear and know, but you should hear and know and followed by mantavyaha nididhyasitavyaha. You should use that knowledge for kriya. You should use that knowledge for meditating upon Brahman, mental worship. What we are doing in the Purva Bhakti stand, please. This is how some people think. Shodavyo mantavyo nididhyasitavyaha iti cha Shravana Uttara Kalayoho. The Shravana Uttara Kalayoho means those two things which follow Shravana. Shravana Uttara Kalayoho. Because first is Shravanam, then what is Uttaram? Uttara means later, that is Mananam, and Taduttaram Nididhyasanam. Therefore, Shravana Uttara Kalayoho, the two things which follow Shravanam, Manana Nididhyasana Yoho, ye dono ka Vidhi Darshanat, in both of them, in Mananam, in Nididhyasanam, that Mantavyaha, Nididhyasitavyaha, in both of them, what is there is Vidhi, Tavya Pratyaya. There is a Vidhi Darshana means what? There is injunction perceived. There is a Vidhi Darshana means Manana and Nididhyasana. Why? Because the termination is used, the pratyaya is used. What is it? Mantavyaha nididhyasitavyaha. Therefore, in both Mananam and Nididhyasanam, what is seen? In Mananam and Nididhyasanam, what is seen? Vidhi. Vidhi is seen. We see the Vidhi, and Vidhi means Kriya. Kriya means action, physical or mental. Therefore, the knowledge, Shravanam gives you knowledge. You don't have to do Mananam for Jnana. You don't have to do Mananam for Jnana. You don't have to do Nididhyasanam for Jnana. The moment you hear, you get the Jnanam. You see, you are not the body, you are Brahman, you are Satyam Jnanam Anantam. You are Nityam, Nitya Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta Svabhavaha. You are Ajaha, Ajaraha. All those things. So you have already heard. That means you know it. But that knowledge doesn't help you. And therefore what should you do? Use that knowledge to worship Brahman, the unlimited, and then meditate upon it. You become the subject of meditation. Brahman becomes the object of meditation. And thus you dwell, you carry on with that act of mental worship of Brahman. That mental worship of Brahman. And in order to worship Brahman, you must have information. And the information you have already got. Hey Bhagavan, you are Satyam, you are Jnanam, you are Anandam, etc., etc., etc. Clear? Nididhyasanayoho vididarshanat tasmat pratipatti vidhi vishayataya eva shastra pramanakam brahma abhyupagantavyamiti. Therefore here it says tasmat, therefore, Purva says, Mimamsaka says, therefore, sir, pratipatti. Pratipatti here is simple upasana, manasa kriya. Manasa kriya is pratipatti. Vidhi means kriya. Vishaya means object. Vishayataya eva means only as the object of the mental action. Pratipatti vidhi vishayataya, as an object of mental act of worship. as an object of the mental act of worship. Pratipatti, which is itself in the form of vidhi, and that vidhi must have a vishaya. Vishayataya, vishayata, that status, vishayataya eva. Vishayata, and then Tritiya Ekvachan, vishayataya eva, alone. Shastra pramanakam brahma abhivagantavyam. Brahma must be abhivagantavyam, Brahman must be understood as the topic of Shastram, Shastra pramanakam. Brahman should be understood as the topic of Shastra pramanam only as an object of mental upasana. Brahman is the topic of Shastram. That means Shastram talks about Brahman. Shastram is the pramanam, yes. Shastram talks about Brahman. But it doesn't talk about Brahman as a fact in itself, as something by knowing which you get liberated. Brahman is unfolded by Vedanta as something to be known and then meditated upon, to be worshipped in one's mind. You stand as the worshipper and Brahman stands as the object of worship, and then as a result of that mental worship you will get something later on. Shastra drishtam, adrishtam. Are you able to follow? Adrishtam phalam, but Shastra drishtam. You don't see the connection between how that upasana will bring you the result, but Shastra drishtam. All adrishtam is Shastra drishtam. हमारे लिए भी अदृष्ट है, शास्त्र के लिए भी अदृष्ट है. How is it going to talk? Agnihotra will take you to heaven. Adrishtam by me. I don't see how this ritual, which I am getting it performed by taking loan, Kisan card. There is a card called Kisan card. So every farmer, he goes to the bank and takes, he can get loan. You don't have to really, you don't have to pledge anything. You don't have to pledge anything. You just go there with the card and you get the money. So similarly, it's called a Kisan card. The best way of really to borrow them. It can be very good, it can be bad also, because these people go on taking loans and afterwards they can't pay back, and afterwards what do? Then they lose their life. They can't handle loans. To be able to handle loans, you have to be a very, very matured person, responsible person. They just take loans and udao the whole thing. Anyway, now I don't see the connection between Agnihotra and heaven, and it is adrishtam for me, but drishtam for the Shastra. So that is why here he says, Sa tasmat pratipatti vidhi vishayataya eva Shastra pramanakam brahma abhivagantavyam. Therefore, Brahman should be understood as the topic of Vedanta, and we should understand that the Shastram unfolds Brahman, which is a matter of mental upasana. Clear? So, as per the Purva Paksha, Mananam and Nididhyasanam are not meant for knowledge. Shravanam itself gives knowledge. But that knowledge doesn't solve the problem. That knowledge has to be followed by practice. And that practice is in the form of upasana. And that upasana is enjoined by the words mantavyaha nididhyastavyaha. Clear? This is a very big paksha. Because this is what the whole world thinks. Pura whole world is a universal thinking. And without handling this thinking, if that is true, I am telling you, if this is true, that if knowledge by itself doesn't liberate man, then that knowledge would be like any other knowledge. Then it will be samsara. Means what? Then knowledge has to be followed by action, and action can bring only result, and that result can never be eternal. It is always non-eternal. It has to be in the form of indriya sukham. And therefore, the sukham that I get through business and the sukham that I get through Brahma Upasana, there will be no difference. There will be no difference. Are you going to follow? You have to follow. You have to follow. You have no choice. If Brahmajnanam doesn't handle my problem, and if Brahmajnanam has to be followed by Brahma, the Upasana, some practice, and if that brings me a result, and that result is going to be in the form of a Vishaya, because even though you may assert that this Upasana will give you Nitya Sukham called Moksha, that is a bluff. Why? Because anything that is born of an action has to be non-eternal. Anything that is born of an action has to be non-eternal, whether it is spiritual action or what we call physical action, a simple empirical mundane action. Any action has to bring about yat kritatam, tat anityam. That is Veda Vakyam. That is observable also anyway. And therefore, we don't accept that Upasana will ultimately give you moksha, because moksha being eternal, and what is eternal, the Nityam, cannot be the result of an action. So it has to bring about the Anitya Phalam. Anitya means the non-eternal result. And the non-eternal result of Brahma Upasana and the non-eternal result of your export business, there is no difference. Yes. Is there a difference? Indriya Sukham. Whether it is earthly Indriya Sukham or really Swarga Indriya Sukham. Indriya Sukham is Indriya Sukham. Indriya Sukham is Indriya Sukham. Sense pleasure is sense pleasure. Thus, grasp the Mimamsaka Puksha well. In answer to this, Siddhanta now begins. Atra abhidiyate na karma brahma vidyapalayoho vailakshanyat. From here, this is very beautiful. Here onwards, having understood the Paksha clearly, then you have to follow the answer clearly. Not only it should be followed as it is said, it should be followed to see which is right, which is wrong. That is called following. It's not just following what he says and what he says. What does the Purvapakshi say? What does the Siddhanti say? Just following what they say is not following, but seeing what is right and what is wrong. What is within Anubhava, what is Shastra Yuktam, what is Anubhava Yuktam, and what is Nyaya Yuktam. I must see. That is called Vichara. Simply what he says and what I can recite what he says. I can also recite what Siddhanti says. That is what is called being a Vidwan without understanding. You can be a scholar. I can follow what he says and he says, but I don't know what is right, what is. This is what Purvapakshi says, this is what Siddhanti says. But what do you say? What do you say? I don't know. He's right. ऐसा कहते हैं. That way I can cite every paksha. I can cite every school. Nayayika says Anu, Mimamsaka says this, Sankhya says Pradhanam, Vedanti says, this is called in academics. They cite. They say this, they say this, they say this. So they can really cite all schools. So they have followed and yet not followed. What is Anubhava Yuktam, what is Nyaya Yuktam, what is a Pranti, what is Vastu. There Vastu, we have to do the Vastu Pranti Viveka. Vastu Pranti Viveka has to be done. That is called following. Please see, Atra in this matter. Abhidhiyate. Abhidhiyate means Kachyate. Dhiyate. Abhidhiyate is. Now it is Samadhiyate. समाधान दिया जाता है। So the Siddhanta says na. You begin with na. Na means all that you say is not true. Na. What you say is not true. Na. Why? He gives the hetu. Karma Brahma Vidya Palayoho Vailakshanya. Action and self-knowledge between the two, the results of both have total, absolute dissimilarity. Action and Brahma Vidya, self-knowledge. Karma Brahma Vidya Palayoho. Karma Vidya and Brahma Vidya. You can Karma Vidya, Brahma Vidya. Palayoho or Karma Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vidya Yoga. Makes no difference, we will include that. The result of the information about an action and the result of the information about Brahman, Karma Jnanam, Brahma Jnanam, between the two, the fruits are different. In Karma Jnanam, I don't get the fruit. The information, the know-how, the knowledge, the know-how of an action doesn't give me any fruit. The know-how has to be translated into action. But Brahman, the very knowledge about the self as Brahman, it doesn't have to be translated into action. That itself liberates the jiva. Unfortunately, the mistake that they make here, the mistake that they make is here. That is where the problem begins. You hear, and that the Shravanam, you hear that you are Brahman, that very information is looked upon as knowledge. It is not knowledge, it is a belief. It is not even belief. I don't know, I have just heard. How that you are not the body, I have heard, but I am yet to verify it. It is an unverified information. And the information verified as true is knowledge. Information unverified is still an unverified statement. Unverified information is not knowledge. But they look upon the very unverified information as knowledge. And the unverified information that you are Brahman definitely doesn't liberate. The unverified statements do not liberate a person. Whereas a Mimamsaka, because customarily he thinks that you hear about an action, you get the information. And there you should not verify. This is the problem. You see the habit. A karmakandi's habit is, you hear this is how the ritual has to be performed. How this ritual has to be performed. You hear it and you take it for granted. These many bricks have to be added. I got the knowledge. These are the dravyas to be used. I got the knowledge. And this ritual having been performed will take you to heaven. I take it for granted. In fact, the whole karma kanda is in the form of taking for granted. Is what is called Shraddha Vishayam. Therefore, this taking for granted habit, this habitual taking for granted, has anuvritti in Vedantas. It travels with you. That habit to take things for granted travels with you even in Vedanta. And therefore a karmakandi thinks that the moment I hear that I am Brahman, I take it for granted. I take it for granted. Anyway, I take it for granted. And taking that particular statement for granted that I am Brahman definitely doesn't liberate me. In fact, that statement verified to be true. Verified to be true. Who Who has to verify it? The one who hears. I have to verify whether it is true. Verified true liberates a person. Statement unverified to be true remains a statement, remains information. This is where the problem is. That is why the argument comes. Okay, karma brahma vidya phalayoho vailakshanyat. There is a difference between the result of the information about karma and the knowledge about Brahma. He elaborates on it. Shariram Vachikam Manasam cha Karma Shruti Smriti Prasiddham Dharmakhyam Yad Vishaya Jignasa Athato Dharma Jignasa Iti Sutrita Adharmopi Hinsadihi Pratishedha Chodana Lakshanatvat Jignasya Pariharaya. What is karma? Says Shariram, physical action. Vachikam, oral action. Speaking is an action. Manasam, mental action. Mental action over which I have a choice, which I choose to do. All my attitudes, etc., they are, when I do puja in my mind, that is Manasam karma. So this physical action, oral action, mental action, Manasam cha karma, Shruti Smriti Siddham, it finds mention in both Karma Kanda and Smriti. They are talked about. The physical actions, the oral actions, and the mental actions. Shruti Smriti Siddham, Dharmakhyam. And that is called dharma. Right words, right physical actions, and the right mental actions, which are all acceptable, universally acceptable actions, go by the name dharma. And yad vishaya jignasa, yad vishaya, pertaining to which, जिसके बारे में, यद विषया, pertaining to which, जिज्ञासा, मीमांसा, अथातो धर्म जिज्ञासा इति सूत्रिता. So, whose मीमांसा has been really started with the sutra, अथातो धर्म जिज्ञासा इति सूत्रिता. The mimamsa of the physical actions, mental actions and oral actions, these actions go by the name, the right actions go by the name dharma, and this dharma has been analyzed in the mimamsa, which starts with athato dharma jignasa. Clear? See how he is beginning the topic, explanation. Bhashikara is explaining. He says, now listen. Actions are physical, oral and mental, over which, and they are all Purusha Tantras. They are all done by your choice. If something you do not by your choice, then you are not accountable, understand? You are not accountable for an action over which you have no choice. When you are asleep and then you fell down from the cot, and there was a cockroach, and you fell on the cockroach, and it died. 100 kilos falling on a small cockroach. Now definitely it gets crushed. Now are you accountable for it? No. Why? Because it is not a Purusha Tantra Vyapara. That is what is called accident, understand? Over which I am acting. It's an accident. What can I do for it? Even then we have got Prayaschitta Karma. Hey Bhagavan. You see? Whether it is knowingly or unknowingly, if I have done something, well, please forgive me. Theek hai. That is not a problem. But karma by definition is something over which we have. I could have avoided, that is called Purusha Tattva. I could have done, I didn't do. I could have avoided, that is what is called Purusha Tattva Vyapara. All karma is Purusha Tattva. So, Yat Vishaya Jignasa Athato Dharma Jignasa iti Sutrita. Now, in this analysis of dharma, adharmo be, even wrong actions, like what? Hinsadihi. See, in Indian context, the greatest adharma is hinsa. Remember this, you will be a good human being. If you avoid one thing, don't hurt others. Hinsa. Cruelty. Hinsa. Even Buddha became very popular, not because he taught greatly Brahman. वो तो बहुत दूर है. ब्रह्म विद्या तो बहुत दूर है. ब्रह्म विद्या तो बहुत दूर. हो सकता है Brahma also he knew, I don't know. But my personal view is that was too much for him. But what made him popular was, he was a good human being. Hinsa. Ahimsa. Paramo dharma. For a society appreciates that. He says the greatest dharma is non-violence. And in those days there was so much of violence, one king hurting another king. I mean, every day there were wars and wars. I tell you, the society, I don't know how we survived. Because every 10 kilometers there was a joker with a few jokers with swords killing one another. It's terrible. I don't know how we survived. Bhagwan, Ishvara Anugraha. And therefore, Himsa. So, even adharma was analyzed. Adharmopi like hinsadihi pratishedha chodana lakshanatva. And adharma is something which is pratishedha chodana vishayam. Remember, understand the phrase. Pratishedha chodana. Chodana means Veda Vakyam. Pratishedha chodana means prohibitive. You understand? Prohibitive statement. Don't do this is called, it is prompting you not to do, is what is called pratishedha chodana. Pratishedha chodana. Himsam na kuryat. What is this? Pratishedha chodana. Don't do it. Chodana lakshanatvat, and it is found in Veda. Veda itself talks about the don'ts, and those don'ts also need to be analyzed. Jijñāsyaha. We have to know what is adharma so that we can pariharaya, so that we can avoid. Dharma was analyzed so that we can follow it. Adharma also was analyzed so that we can avoid it. This analysis of what is dharma and what is adharma and what are the vikalpas, what are the utsargas, what are the apavadas, what are the vikalpas, all these things are analyzed well, not only in the society but also in the matter of the rituals, what is to be followed, what is to be avoided. This is what we call dharma jijñāsa. This dharma jijñāsa shastra was also written by someone. Jaimini wrote dharma mimamsa. Hinsadihi pratishedha chodana lakshanatvat jijñāsyaha pariharaya. Able to follow? Now this is how the answer is begun to answer, to show the difference between the fruit of karma and the fruit of Brahma Vidya. And in order to show the difference between karma phalam and vidya phalam, you have to first show what is karma, what is vidya, what is the subject matter of karma, what is the subject matter of vidya, and then you can show the difference between the fruit of this and fruit of that. Elaborate answer for which you have to have a lot of patience. One word answer you can't give. Therefore, jignasya parihara. Tayoho chodana lakshanayoho artha anarthayoho dharma dharmayoho phale pratyakshe sukha dukhe shariravaṁ manobhihi eva vapujyamane vishayendriya sanyoga janye brahmadishu sthavaranteshu prasiddhe. Tayoho, between right actions and wrong actions, called dharma and adharma. Tayoho. And both of them are chodana lakshana yoga. Please understand, chodana lakshana means which are mentioned by Veda. Veda says do dharma. Veda also says don't do. If Veda says do it, it becomes chodana lakshana. If Veda says don't do it, it becomes chodana lakshana. Chodana lakshana. One is pratisheda chodana, the other is vidhi. One is vidhi chodana, the other is vidhi rupa chodana, the other is pratisheda rupa chodana. Clear? Therefore, dharma dharma yoho tayoho chodana lakshanatvat, because they find a mention in Veda, chodana lakshanatvat. Now, chodana lakshanatvat, the moment we say, we have to have a lot of background grasp. If the Veda says, don't do the wrong action, if the Veda says, do the right action, its vision is that you will have to pay for it sometime or the other, which means it has the vision that you don't die with the body. Atma is nityaha. It has really the dehantara prapti, lokantara prapti, that background vision. Because the Veda visualizes the jiva as eternal. Because Veda visualizes the jiva as eternal. Because it visualizes the jiva to take body after body until it understands its glory, its swarupam. And therefore, chodana lakshanatvat, that means that is the vision. Because Veda thinks so, means what? We have to take it like this. Because jiva is eternal, as unfolded by Veda. Therefore, one has to pay for what he did in some life or the other. Therefore, one has to be careful. Therefore, mimamsa. There is dharma mimamsa because the jiva has to pay for adharma that he does. Jiva is eternal. And he will have to pay for what he will have to face what he did in some time or the other. Therefore, jiva being eternal, he has to face his own karma. Therefore, he should be careful. And he should be careful means he should be educated to be careful. Meaning he should be educated to be he should be educated enough so that he becomes careful, does the right and avoids the wrong. Why should Veda take interest? Veda has to take interest because Veda is meant for the well-being of the Jiva, the Pramata. Being a Pramanam, my eyes have to serve me, my ears have to serve me. Every Pramana is meant for? Pramana is meant for whom? Pramata. Pramanas are meant for serving the Pramata. My eyes are meant to serve me, my ears are meant to serve me. Similarly, Veda is also for me, the Pramata. Therefore, it has to serve me. So the Karma Kanda things, you are Nityaman, therefore you have to face the karma, and therefore you have to be responsible, and therefore it is the responsibility of the Veda to make the Jiva, the Pramata, responsible. And the Veda fulfills its responsibility of educating the Jiva about what is Dharma and what is Adharma. Clear? And that is all the meaning of the word Chodana Lakshanatvat. Chodana Lakshanatvat Tayoho Chodana Lakshanayoho Chodana Lakshanayoho Dharma Dharma Vichar mentioned by Veda. It doesn't merely mention this is dharma and this is adharma. It says, don't do adharma and do dharma. And what are these dharma and adharma? Artha anarthayoho. Artha anarthayoho. Dharma is artha and adharma is anartha. Artha means what? Useful. Anartha means useless, meaning creates dukkha. Arthanarthayoho Chodana Lakshanayoho Tayoho Dharma Dharmayoho Dharma and Dharma ka. Now you see all qualified? Tayoho Chodana Lakshanayoho Artha Anarthayoho. What are they? Dharma Dharmayoho. Phale, उन दोनों का results. The results of dharma and adharma. Phale. Phale are two. There are two kinds of phala. Dharma phalam and adharma phalam. Therefore phalam cha. Phale. Phalam phale. Phalani. Samskritam nahi. Ani. आने से भी भूल जानी. आने से भी भूल जानी. फल फले. Phale means two kinds of fruits. Phale. Pratyakshe. And the fruit of dharma and adharma is evident. It is not some belief, as many Westerners think. How can Indriya Sukham be belief? How can Indriya Dukkham be belief? You don't say when you have really Dukkham, I believe I am unhappy. You don't say that. You don't say that. Or at best you may say, I believe I am happy. But when you are unhappy, you don't believe that you are unhappy. I am unhappy. Sukham is evident. Dukkham is evident. Pratyakshe, evident. Phale, pratyakshe. What are those fruits? Sukha dukkhe. Sukham cha, dukkham cha. Sukha dukkhe. Sukham and dukkham. Sharira vang manobhihi eva upabhujyamane. And experienced only by the body, senses and the mind. Sharira, vang, manobhihi. That vak is an upalakshanam for all the indriyas. Vak experiences the sukham and dukkham means what? indriyas experience. I perform my actions through the body and I experience the result through the body. This is karma sadhanam. This is also bhoga sadhanam. Indriyas are karma sadhanam. That is also bhoga sadhanam. Mind is karma sadhanam. That is also bhoga sadhanam. They call it karma sadhanam and bhogayatanam. Bhogayatanam in the place. Bhogayatanam means bhoga sadhanam anyway. Sharira vang manobhihi. All bahuvachan. Sharira vang manobhihi means what? By means of the body and the senses and the mind. Manobhihi. Eva alone. That evakara is bringing here to show as the karma was done. There is shariram karma, vak karma and manasa karma. So just as the karma was done by the three, and the bhoga also is done by the three. Sharira vang manobhireva upabhujyamane, enjoyed. Bhujadatu, bhujya, bhujyamane, bhujya yak, and then shanach, and sati saptami, upabhujyam, sati saptami nahi, upabhujyamane, vivachanam, upabhujyamane sukha dukhe. Upabhujyamanam, upabhujyamanam, sukha dukhe, upabhujyamane. Being experienced, the two fruits called pleasure and pain which are experienced only through the body, senses and the mind. Upabhujyamane. Then, Vishayendriya Sanyoga Janye. What else is the Vyakhyana about the pleasure and pain? Vishaya Indriya Sanyoga Janya. Janya means born. Born of what? Vishaya and Indriya Sanyoga. Association of the senses with the objects. Vishaya Indriya Sanyoga Janye. These pleasure and pain are born of only sense contact with the things. Whether it is sense contact with the things or mental contact with the things or even memory contact with the things. I see things and I remember things. I can see things and be unhappy. I remember things, I can be unhappy. I can imagine things and be unhappy. Oh, I don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. That means I am connecting my mind, my thought with an object. Understand? That means this is called Vishaya Indriya Sanyoga Janye Sukha Dukhe. And where are they experienced? Brahmadi sthavaranteshu prasiddhe. And evident in all the realms. Right from Brahmadi, from Brahmaloka, sthavaranteshu, right up to tree, a plant. Brahmadi sthavara anteshu, meaning all over creation. In the creation, everywhere in the creation, what is most evident is the pleasures and pains that I happen to go through, over which I have no choice. I have choice only over doing dharma or doing adharma, but when it comes to the result, over which I have no choice. Sometimes, even though I am almighty, but if I am destined to, if I have done some karma, whose result is dukkham, however mighty I may be, I have to go through. You may say, no, how can I be taken by surprise? I have got all resources, etc. Tell you, you may get stuck in midsummer noon in a lift and there is no electricity. I tell you, for a pain, for a man to go through pain is nothing. Pain can just really, it can take avatar any place. Pain can take avatar at any place, at any time, in any situation. Nothing, it's not a see. Once we say choiceless, understand, I have no choice over them. I can be taken by surprise. My choice is only over action. That is what is prasiddham. And now in this very life itself, Every pleasure we haven't worked for, every pain also we haven't worked for in this life. When we have not done, able to follow. You have not worked for every pleasure you are going through, every comfort you are going through. In fact, you haven't created anything, you are still unemployed. You are not making any money. It's all the money earned by ancestors and you are really enjoying it. Now what is it? It's all comfort, it is sukham all right, but I haven't earned it in this life. I haven't done any great dharma also in this life. In fact, wasting ancestral money is adharma anyway. But still I am going through all comforts. Why? It can only be past. It's a prasiddham. Now people say, oh, I can't really connect it to the past. Hey, you can't connect to the past, alright, connect it to something. You want to connect, now try to connect. If you can't connect, then you leave it to me to connect. Are you connected? Connect your pleasures, the comforts that you are going through, try to connect them. You can't connect it to this life because you don't deserve all that you are going through. But still one is going through. Connect it. No, we cannot connect it. Alright, is it an accident? Accident? Then it is being unscientific. Means without causation, they can't be explained. Causation has to be there. You can only connect it to the past. That's what I am doing. No, I don't believe. Alright, you do it. You connect it. You connect it to God's will. I say, God, why should God? That is not justifiable. Why should God make you unhappy or happy? Are you able to follow? We have got a sutra for it. Naishkarmya, Nairghrinya, Vaishamya, Nairghrinya. There is a sutra in Brahma Sutra. You can't attribute Vaishamya and Nairghrinya to Bhagavan. Truth can't suffer bias and cruelty. If Jiva is suffering, and that cruelty don't attribute, don't ascribe. You understand, they don't say that God is cruel. And if there is disparity in the society, don't ascribe Vaishamya means bias to God. God is free from bias and cruelty. God is free. Truth is free from bias and cruelty. Therefore, if I am going through pain, it is a result of my own karma. Thus, the fruits of dharma and adharma, which are in the form of sukha dukkha, which are produced by indriya vishaya sanyoga, and which are there evident all over the creation, right from the highest realm to the lowest realm. Sthavaranteshu prasiddhe. Clear? You can put a mark there. Yes, to go into a lot of things. He is going to categorize dharma, phalam under one, bring them under one, and jnanam, which doesn't come under dharma and adharma. Brahma, which is not a karma. Thus, he has to classify the knowledge of a fact, which knowledge is neither dharma nor adharma, neither it is useful also. Brahma jnanam is neither dharma nor adharma, nor can it be useful for dharma and adharma. Brahma jnanam is not useful for performing dharma and adharma, please. Brahma jnanam, Brahman is a non-dual fact, and the fruit of that knowledge is different from the fruit of dharma and adharma. This distinction has to be shown to the Mimamsaka for him to make him think. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Sham, Jai Sham, Jai Shanti. O Rama. Hari Om ji. Thank you. Namah Shivaya. To hear this opportunity, you should never miss. Whatever may be your duties, the so-called great duties, as come in the morning and here and there. If you miss this opportunity, second opportunity may take yugas. Nasa nahi. To receive the vakyas, then think in these terms is not easy. Swamiji, you want to make sure the attendance in your class by saying so. I don't have those problems. I look upon it as the greatest opportunity for the students. Because when does one find time for this? You can find time to do things. Mela ke liye time milti hai, mandiron mein jaane ke liye, your mind is available to go to the temple. You can plan to go on a yatra. You can go around the world. There is time and temperament for everything, but not sit down and think about this. It's not a question of lack of time alone. It's not a question of availability. Man nahi lagta. You can go to any temple tomorrow. You feel like going to Vaishnav Devi temple, you will go to the temple and come back. You can go to Gangotri and come back. You can go to America and come back. You can do this, you can do that. But to sit down and look into every vakya, what is this vakya saying, what is that vakya saying, what is the difference, kya hai, what is the whole problem, what is the problem, what is the Shastra talking to me about me, it is to sit down, relax and look into the topic. Not easy. Not easy. You may get enough time to keep doing some routine in the name of spirituality. You may get up early in the morning at 4 o'clock and you will do all asanas also, and you will do pranayam also, and you will do great meditation also, and you will do parayam also, Gita ka recitation 1, 2, 3 अध्याय recite कर डालेंगे, और मूंग दाल का sprouts खाएंगे, शाकाहार, what we call सात्विक भोजन करेंगे, सब you will be able to do. Anybody can do all this stuff. But to sit down and see what it is all about. That is where adhikaritvam. These are all anybody can do. Getting up at 4 o'clock is not a big deal. Anybody can get up. We can do. Anybody can. Anyway, these are all simple. The ashrams also. एक बार भगवान विष्णु जी से लक्ष्मी जी ने कहा, भगवान जी इस कलयुग में सब वेदांती वेदांत है, हर जगह में आश्रम है, साधु संत है, भजन है, तो सब लोग मुक्त हो जाएंगे, कोई स्वर्ग चले जाएंगे, मुक्त हो जाएंगे, तो पृथ्वी में क्या करेंगे? वहां पर कोई रहेंगे? विष्णु जी ने कहा इसमें कोई डरने वाला नहीं, तो कोई there's no need for fear. My Maya is there. My Maya will put every spiritualist on a routine called spiritual routine. They will be occupied with a spiritual routine. 4 बजे को उठो, then you have a routine. थोड़ा ये करो, थोड़ा वो करो, फिर ब्रेकफास्ट करो, फिर कर्मयोग करो, फिर भोजन करो, फिर आराम करो, फिर उठो, फिर चाय पी लो, फिर थोड़ा कर्मयोग करो, फिर थोड़ा भजन करो, फिर पूजा करो, फिर पाठ करो. आप तो विचार कोई नहीं करेंगे, वो रूटीन में पड़ जाएंगे जी. डोंट वरी. हाँ जी, रूटीन में पड़ जाएंगे. आई विल पुट देम ऑल ऑन ए रूटीन, स्पिरिचुअल रूटीन. Routine means karma, action. Routine. Then Lakshmi ji ने कहा कोई बात, तब तो ठीक है. Put them all on a routine, and I will also do some other, because I will also treat it that routine is productive routine. लक्ष्मी जी ने कहा हम भी थोड़ा धन भेजेंगे. That is why we want to be occupied with a productive routine. Not a routine that can generate knowledge. It is a productive routine. You see? हम जानते हैं कि ये क्या क्या करते हैं हम लोग. We get थोड़ा सेवा करेंगे, प्रे करेंगे, वो करेंगे, और फील नाइस. आई एम लिविंग ए वानप्रस्थ का जीवन, संन्यास जीवन, थोड़ा ठीक, थोड़ा बहुत योग करते हैं, थोड़ा योग करते हैं, थोड़ा सेवा करते हैं, थोड़ा पूजा पाठ करते हैं, थोड़ा पारायण करते हैं, थोड़ा अच्छे अच्छे कर्म करते हैं, बस हो गया. एंड कीप डूइंग द होल लाइफ. नहीं, वहां पर कुछ वेदांत वो बड़ा मुश्किल है, वो जरूरत नहीं, ये ठीक है. एंड लक्ष्मी जी से रूटीन कैसे फॉलो करेंगे? 4 बजे से आई हैव पुट माई माया ऑन द जॉब. विष्णु सेड यू डोंट वरी. व्हाट इज द माया? एक दूसरे को उठाते रहते हैं. 4 बजे को यार फास्टली somebody can knock on it. खटखटा, चलो चलो उठो, टाइम हो गया. थैंक यू. दिस इज रूटीन. Even after 25 years, it is able to going on. Routine is all right. Routine is not bad, but it should be routine in the form of Shravanam Mananam, Atma Vichara. That is not a routine. Actions can have a routine. That I want to be happy, you don't do it in a matter of in the morning for 2 hours. I think of, I search for happiness. Then afterwards I do my duty. के बाद भोजन करते हैं. शाम को 2 घंटा के लिए again I search for happiness. Then happiness is not a routine. It is not a time-bound program. Similarly, understanding Tattvam is not a time-bound program. I should do everything for it. Clear, hai na? Any questions? This routine is something which I have seen can really get you into trouble. Because routine becomes all important. Routine is good. That is okay. Routine is good. But that routine should be, the whole routine should be in the form of only a survival and vichara. That's called a routine. Survival and vichara. Whatever you are doing, either you are doing for survival or you are doing vichara. Minus these two. And again you don't have to go on thinking, my mind is impure, and then the whole life you are doing, I am doing. I think your purity also will come, you take up the Vakya. Go into the Vakya. Try to verify what the Shruti says. The moment you begin that job, is it really true that is different from taking something for granted and living with it? The moment you ask question, is it really true? Is it true that the aparoksham has no negation? Oh my God, that is a different thing. Then that becomes all important in life. Rest everything falls in their place. If that is not, if you take it for granted and drink it, and then you follow the routine, expecting that this whole routine at the end of many years will give me the experience of Brahman. If I have to go on doing it one day, I will get the experience of Brahman. ऐसा कभी नहीं होगा. It's all bluff.
हरिओम।